Testing, 1, 2, testing, testing. Let me just make sure I'm live, and we are live. How's it going? IWC, YWC, women's wrestling fans, Stardom fans, whoever you may be, Alucard, Hell's an Organization. I'm about to do a review on Stardom MayGold 2015, or when was the date of it? 5/17/2015. Very good show. Well, testing, 1, 2, testing, testing. Kind of slip up, but it's the good kind of slip up. It's a slip up that lets me know that the sound is working. So this wasn't, I wouldn't say the best Stardom show I've seen, but it was really damn good and worth watching. So let's get into the matches, shall we? By the way, there will be a link to where you can find all the matches. Let me see right here. All right. I didn't write anything down. As always, I'm just gonna go off my feelings of the match. Facebook. Okay, I'll just leave that on. Anyway, so the first match was Haruka Kato versus Sunshine Kamen. Decent match. Kato quickly becoming one of my favorites in Stardom. Just all of her submissions alone. The woman is a magnet to the arm bar. She finds very creative ways to go into the arm bars submission. But the match ends like in a weird way. Like Sunshine Kamen wins the match with a German suplex. And I was thinking Kato was getting, a lot of momentum, and maybe she would challenge for the high speed championship or something like that. But her losing to, no disrespect to Sunrise, or it's Sunrise. Yeah, I would think that Kaito would be higher on the Stardom chart, but I guess Kaito's still young and still learning. So, I guess it really doesn't hurt her too much, but that was just, a surprising victory for Sunrise. Then you move on to the next match, which was pretty close for me. I would say this was the funnest match of them all because it was a four-way kind of match, but kind of not. It was Chris Wolf versus Kairi Hojo. Again, Japanese names kind of throw me. Versus Momo Watanabe versus Ryo Hazuki. Like I said, this was a really fun comedy match that still has some really good wrestling stuff in it. It starts out with all four women getting into sort of like a connected arm wringer, and then Chris Wolf comes in and starts biting Momo. Well, before she bites Momo, she starts doing the arm wringer and starts jumping, and so it does like a wave pattern on everybody's arm, and then she starts biting Momo. Momo gets out of the arm wringer, and then she goes to try to bite Kairi, and Kairi starts doing the dog or wolf noises to Chris to get her to bite Ryo, and both of them start biting Ryo. And then Kairi, she gets Momo and Ryo to pretty much gang up on Chris Wolf, and then they start attacking Chris Wolf, start putting, I guess like a series of drop kicks. But then Ryo, Kairi switches, changes or attacks both Ryo and Momo, and then they turn around where Chris Wolf, Momo, and Ryo start attacking Kairi, and then Kairi is taken out of the picture after a series of attacks by all three. They start trying to German suplex each other. Like I think it was Ryo tries to German suplex Chris Wolf, but then Momo comes in for a waistlock on Ryo, and then Kairi gets up and tries to suplex all four of them, which if that would have happened, that would have blew my mind, that spot. But what happened was Ryo, Kairi Yomaha, she pushes all four of them to the rope, which pushes out Ryo and Chris Wolf to the outside, and he tries to roll up Momo. Momo kicks out, Rio, I think she tries to hit her finisher or whatever. Yeah, I think they hit all their finishers on each other, and then something else happens. There's a little bit more of a scuffle, and then it's Momo and Kairi on the outside of the ring or on the apron, and they're fighting to stay in. Chris Wolf and Rio works together and drop kick them off the apron, and then they're like looking at each other, and Momo, not Momo, but Rio, she's like, I guess looking for a high five from Chris, and Chris just does her wickedly delicious smile and hits the bicycle kick, or as most American fans know it now, the bro kick from Sheamus. She hits that and goes for the pinfall. I think the referee kind of messed up here because I think that was supposed to be the finish, but whatever. It ends up with a 2 count. Chris Wolf picks up Rio and hits. It looked like a T-bone suplex, and she got the pinfall. Chris Wolf picks up the victory with that. Then you move on to the next match, which was the High Speed Championship. Koguma, the champion, versus Starfire. Starfire's entrance, I got flashbacks from Lena. For 2 reasons. The splits, or 3. She hit the split and the bounce, then was the bounce. She was bouncing in the splits, and then she slid up under. And then she's a very, well, I can kind of tell because of the mask, she's a very beautiful Latina woman. So like that combination, it gives you Melina flashback. But that's where the whole thing ends. Starfire is 200% legit in the ring. The match, another very good match. Koguma held her own here, like, especially when you think about it. Koguma's, I think she's 16 or 17, and she's holding her own against a well-established, experienced wrestler in Starfire. They both put on some really good stuff, but in the end, Koguma gets hit with Splash Mountain, which is, I don't think I've seen it before, not on American television. It's the razor. Starfire puts Koguma up in the razor's edge and then brings her down to like a driver, and they call it Splash Mountain. And after Splash Mountain, Starfire hits the package power driver, getting you the 1, 2, 3 on Koguma. And that's not saying Koguma didn't put up a really nice fight here. She had some really good moves in this fight. She hit the bear cutter or the Koguma cutter. I don't know what is the ace cutter. She does that move really good, and she has some really good ground moves. But in the end, she really couldn't handle Starfire. And there's not anything to take away from Koguma. She was a great high speed champion. I'm pretty sure she'll, get another high speed championship run, or the Wonder, or the Artist, or whatever. Very talented, especially for her age. So Starfire, your new high speed champion. And then you move on to the next match. Chelsea versus Miyako Satomura. Like when I first saw this match, I always think, well, before I get into this match, let me make sure if anybody is watching besides me. All right. See if I can get some live comments. Probably not Stardom. But anyway, moving back into the match, the Chelsea versus Satomura. When I first saw this match on paper, I was kind of cringe-worthy. Like it made me think, like, why do they have this match? Because having Chelsea versus Io Shirai, that's one thing. That's kind of throwing her into the fire as it is. But Satomura, her vicious kicks and her years of experience, you're throwing Chelsea deep into the fire. You're throwing her into a lake of lava and expecting her to swim. And was I ever pleasantly surprised, because Chelsea, she held her own in this match. I mean, she got a decent offense. It wasn't as much offense as Satomura, but you could see in time that Chelsea, she could become a hell of a wrestler. And I'm going to say this. Chelsea is the bizarro Eva Marie. And what I mean by that is, both of these women, Eva Marie and Chelsea, super hot. Both of them are in the wrestling, business. One can't get over, is hated by the fans or whatever. She's just nobody likes her besides her beauty. Whereas Chelsea, she's loved by all the fans, men, women, and children. She's super over, and she can actually wrestle. Well, I think that has more to do with Stardom's excellent training program, but she's been able to get herself over in a quick period of time, and she's, like I said, loved. So like with amount of time, Chelsea, she could be one of the top, if not the top star in Stardom. She's already like very super popular, but I can see her being the gaijin face of Stardom, which I think that means foreigner, right? Let me see right here about the match. Chelsea, like I said, Chelsea, she held her own, put on some good moves and stuff like that, but it just wasn't enough for Sakamura. The match ends with Sakamura. I think she hit a kick to Chelsea's stomach. Chelsea was on the ground, and Miyako went to the ropes and hit her patented cartwheel knee drop onto the back of Chelsea's head and neck, and then put Chelsea into a Boston Crab. Chelsea tapped out, and the crowd went wild and everything like that. I knew Chelsea was a huge babyface because Miyako, who is usually cheered, every time you hit Chelsea, she got booed, which was an obvious sign. The match ends, and Miyako leaves the ring and gives Chelsea the mic, and Chelsea says that she's officially on the Stardom roster. I guess she was there part-time, but now she's signed full-time, which is great for Stardom. It helps them expand into the American market, especially like they get Chelsea to be more bilingual in Japanese and English. It is a great platform for both. They can expand their brand. And like I said, Chelsea, she has a tremendous upside when it comes to wrestling. Loved, tries, that's the one thing, tries to put on a good wrestling match. And more often than not, this was a proving ground match to see how she can do at her current skill level against someone as highly skilled as Miyako. And I think, in my personal opinion, she held her own very well. And I think in years' time, hell, she could, put on, maybe a 4 or 5 star classic with Miyako. But anyway, let's move on to the Wonder of Stardom Championship, which was vacated by one of my favorites, at Yazuka. So the match was Io Shirai versus Nikki Storm from Glasgow, Scotland. And another very good match. Nikki Storm throughout the whole match was just targeting Io Shirai's neck and back. She was just doing brutal things like I guess like a net breaker off of the apron, off of the top rope and everything like that. She just was going, absolutely demonic on Io Shirai's neck and back, putting her into her back and head first into steel post. Io Shirai tried to get some offense in. She tried to go for a 619, and Nikki Storm just, I could see it by the camera angle. She was looking for it to come, and she just hits this violent, brutal, just like stomp or kick to Io Shirai's face, and just like stops her in her track. She continues to assault with net breakers and like back suplexes on Io Shirai. Eventually, Io Shirai does get some offense in, and it comes with the springboard spot. She like hits a springboard drop kick, which sends her into the 619, and then she goes around and hits another springboard drop kick. But getting to the end of the match, right here, yeah, Nikki Storm, I think she hits her finisher, which is the Cyclone Netbreaker. He takes a little bit of time, goes for the pin. Io Shirai kicks up. I'm thinking to myself, don't do that. Don't have Nikki Storm hit her finisher on the inside of the ring, and then Io Shirai kicks out. You're putting one of my favorite female wrestlers into hated John Cena territory. Do not do that. I would have rather Nikki Storm not hit that finisher and just get countered than Io Shirai kick out of Nikki Storm's finisher. But so I think Nikki Storm tries to go for her finisher one more time, but Io Shirai counters that into a tombstone pile driver. which looked absolutely sick in the way Nikki Storm sold it. She was like had her arms out, flailing and everything like that. And then when she got spiked, her arms just went limp. Io Shirai goes to the top rope and hits the moonsault, gets the pinfall 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm not mad that Io Shirai is the Wonder of Stardom champion, but now she's had all the belts and everything like that. I think, in my personal opinion, Nikki Storm should have won the white belt, stay there for 2 more months, and somebody, a younger star, or maybe Io Shirai should have came back and gotten the belt, but just to give Stardom some more worldwide attention. Shout out to Corbill. But I can't really be upset because Io Shirai, she's a hell of a wrestler. If you haven't seen Io Shirai wrestle, you're doing yourself a disservice. One of the top women's athletes in wrestling today, has tremendous athleticism. Anyway, moving on to the main event, Mayu Iwatani versus Kairi Hojo. Beginning of the match, pretty much a stalemate. They try to figure each other out, and then Kairi Hojo tries to go for her diving elbow. Mayu attacks it and pretty much goes on the offensive on Kairi Hojo's arm. She does like a springboard stomp onto Kairi Hojo's arm. Eventually, Kairi Hojo, she mounts some offense in. Kairi Hojo's offense, I keep saying this, is one of the most whacked out, weirdest offenses in wrestling, but it works so well. Now that she's found the time and is getting to gel, it's weird beauty in motion. Like for instance, she in the corner, she got Mayu into the corner, and she hit a running, shoulder block in the corner, came back to the ropes and hit a jump, like a side jumping kind of net breaker, and just like I said, it fits her. All this stuff fits her so well. And then she starts attacking the back of Mayu, putting her in like camel clutch and everything like that. Let's see right here, moving on, blah, 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 blah. Eventually getting to the end of the match, they're pretty much both working each other over. They're tired hitting just random backhands to each other or whatever. And Mayu, they start fighting off the top rope. Mayu gets knocked down. Kairi Hojo hits her jump splash from the top rope while the person is cradled. And then she tries to go for she goes from the second rope and hits her diving elbow. Mayu kicks out of that. And then she goes back to the top rope after a while, after some more offense or whatever, hits another top rope diving elbow. Mayu kicks out of that one. They have, more offensive scroll between the two. Eventually, Kairi Hojo picks her up and puts her in the, Alabama slam, but it was more like her legs were like, her body was more on the back of Kairi Hojo Mayu, but then Kairi Hojo slams her down like at an angle, and then goes back to the top rope, hits the second top rope diving elbow from the top rope. And if you've never seen Kairi Hojo hit that diving elbow, please type it in to Google and Kairi Hojo elbow gift and do yourself or just watch the match. Watch the match. I'll link it in the description or the channel or the whatever. So she gets the win, 1, 2, 3, and Mayu put in an S and an F. Like, I want to say this was the match of the night. If I was going to rate all the matches, I would say the Io Shirai match. That was the match of the night. Then the Koguma versus Starfire. Then this one, the main event. Then the Chelsea versus Sakamura. Then the four-way, and then the opener, the Kaito versus Sunrise. At the end of the match, they have respect promos or whatever. I can't speak Japanese, not now or whatever. So they give each other respect. Kairi Hojo's talking, and all of a sudden, Miyoko Sakamura comes out and challenges Kairi Hojo for the next Stardom event, which it tells a pretty good story because I think last year or 2 years ago or some years ago, Miyoko beat Kairi Hojo at a I think was it retirement party for Kota Kabashi, I think it was, or something like that. So it's one of those things where has Kairi Hojo improved enough to finally defeat Miyoko, because at the time Kairi Hojo was just finding herself and everything like that, and she was still learning from the now retired Nene Takahashi. So this is, I wouldn't say proving ground. This is more like a I guess what have you learned match or something like that. But I'm looking forward to that match for the next Stardom event. Kairi Hojo, Miyoko versus Kairi Hojo for the World of Stardom belt. I think that match is going to be, one of those top women's matches that hopefully people will get to see and everything like that. But let me check these comments or whatever. And make share. That's pretty okay. I got another like from somebody else, so it's 2 likes. Nobody's really commenting. I think we can pretty much cut it out right here. I just want to put the review up or anything like that. Bad boys. Okay. Anyway, so if you have any questions about Stardom or anything like that, put them in the comment section or whatever. And Stardom, MayGold overall. I'm gonna keep it honest with everybody. If you wanted to, you could skip the Kato versus Sunrise match and then just start it from the 4-way, which was entertaining. The High Speed Championship, very good match. The Chelsea versus Sakamura is a recommended match. The Io Shirai versus Nikki Storm. With those 2 names, I don't really even have to tell you to go watch that match. And then the Hojo Kairi versus Mayu. I want to say it was one of the best Kairi Hojo matches, but it was very competitive for what it was. So all in all, good show. Just one bad match on the card. You can't get any, ask for anything better than that. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna catch you guys later. And watch Stardom. It's not hard. Just you type Stardom into the YouTube search bar, Google search, or Stardom Wrestling into Daily Motion. It's not hard to find. If you want to find Stardom, all you have to do is you're on the internet. That's really the only thing I have to say. That's the only thing I really have to say. You're on the internet, use it, watch Stardom, because it has some very good wrestling, not just women's wrestling, but wrestling overall. It has some really good stuff. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.